this is the this is the agenda. First of all, I'll go through the difference between Git and GitHub. That will take almost 1.5 minutes. Then I'll go to the integration of Git with the GitHub. This will take only 20 seconds almost. So Git buzzwords are those things that the newcomer or the new guys who don't know the what are those. There are some terms that you frequently listen up when you will have to work with the Git. So I'll explain those all buzzwords, then I'll go through the brief of Git commands. And so to start with these things, first of all, I'm showing you what is the difference between Git and GitHub. Usually misunderstood thing is Git is the GitHub and GitHub is the Git. So these are the two different things. There are multiple service provider. Git is called a service provider. So the same thing, GitLab is there, Bitbucket is there. These all are the service provider that is in core providing the Git services. As I have already told you that Git is a version control system. So either it is GitHub or either it is GitLab or either it is Bitbucket. Those all things are having the core feature as in Git, because it is providing us the version control system. So in the same row I can see that it is Git as a tool. Okay, GitHub is a services. And now, as we know that some time before, Microsoft has taken over to the GitHub. So now the proprietorship of the GitHub is now with the Microsoft. However, the Git is having their proprietorship with the Linux. We know that we can install Git in our local system. We can work with the command in our local system. So Git is a tool, works with the command line. However, GitHub is a service and it is having their GUI, so we can access their GUI, we can do the work with the GUI. And as I told you, we can install Git locally. However, GitHub is there and we can access GitHub through the browser URL. It is there are some browser URL like github.com where we can access this with our authentication and authorization. Then we can access our resources. There is a GUI with the Git is also. That GUI is called Git GUI. Going further with the as you are able to see the logos, because picture tells more than the people understood. So what the picture is saying that Git is having their own logos and GitHub is having their own logos. So there are some integration part. I mean that how the Git is being integrated with the GitHub, because as I told you, GitHub is in services. So how this GitHub is being integrated with the Git? What the Git we are installing the local, how it is being mapped with the global GitHub web URL. So the ways I'll discuss this thing, how the GitHub, how the local Git project has been mapped with the remote GitHub URL. So we'll be discussing later in the part 3 of the GitHub. In this part, I am going through some GitHub buzzwords. So these buzzwords are, as you have always listened about the snapshot version. So what is that snapshot version? Snapshot is nothing but we call it a version. Okay, snapshot means in an synonymous way we can say it's a version. So wherever we are writing the snapshot, it means it is indicating about the version of our software. So the same thing in the second bulleted point I have written version. It is interchangeable. I mean we can give the version or we can write the snapshot. The revision, we know that revision, suppose today we have created a new product, and that product is the with the initial version. So initial version we call it 0.0.1. Okay, Now we are changing either not it is 0.0.1, but it should be 1.0.0. Now in a next sprint we have changes some codes, or we have done some improvement into our code base. So that version again, that would be again reversioned, and we call it as revision. And the revision means we have done some improvement in our code, in our source code. So we have revised our source code. Now the third bulleted point is called staging. What is staging? Staging is suppose we have created one project into our local system, and that project is, we wanted that project to be part of the remote GitHub URL. So first of all, we need to create a stage for that. What is that stage? I mean, before pushing a code to the remote GitHub URL, we need to stage that code. So for that purpose, there is a command called git add. That git add is adding a reset changes to the stage. It adding to the stage means it is being prepared to go for the remote URL. Now the commit is whatever we have staged, we can commit those changes only. We cannot commit those all things that we haven't staged till now. So the commit means whatever we have staged, we are committing it. The head is again the buzzwords. Head is called whatever, suppose you have created a new URL and it is by default creating master. Okay, so this is called head. I mean the initial commit with the initial project is called the initial row of the development is called the head. Then the branches is there. As I told in the part 1, that branches is just to cut off a new stream of the development is called branching. Means if from the head of the master we have taken off one new branch, and I got the changes of the master, as well as we are able to change in that uh, branch also. Means in the same way as the branch discussed, it is creating a new wings. Okay, so the merge is again, if we have created one branch, we have done our changes, then we are merging it to the main branch again, from where we have cut it out. So the PR is to merge the things from the feature branch to the remote to the main branch. We need to raise PR. It is a pull request. It means that if I want our code to be to be uh, uh, I mean to be the part of the main branch, then we have to create a pull request. In between the branching, merging, and PR, there is reviews that is happening. So how the reviewer will review you? It's type of, we call it a an expert who is reviewing the codes, so that the main branch that is already working could not hamper this new changes. Okay, so the pull PR is the pull request, and pull is again, there are three things. The last three bullet points are pull, fetch, and update. Pull, fetch, and update are almost synonymous, and they are working as it is. Pull is the mix of fetch and update. It means if in a local git we are writing git pull, that will pull the all changes, whether it is new branches, whether the existing branches, what the changes is occurred in the remote by the other developers. So all those changes come from remote branch to the local branch. Fetch is again, it is fetching the update. What fetching the update means is whatever changes occurred there in the remote branch, that will be fetched, either it is creating a new branch or whatsoever it is. And update is nothing but the same thing. We cannot write the git update like things. We can write git pull, git fetch, but update I have written here for the purpose of explaining you. Pull is the combination of fetch and update. So coming for the git command in briefs, as I told you, if I wanted to send our code from local git to the remote GitHub, As I told you, the how the adding is done. So there we can we are writing this thing git add and file name whatever account open account.jsp. So by this way we are adding our pages open account.jsp into the staging. We have staged it. Now there are three types, there are three ways to write the git add command. The one is git add, writing the file name with their path, and second one is git add only, it is adding all. Git add means it is adding all. Again git add dot, it means it is dot means what, it is taking the asterisk, it is adding all whatever the changes we have done locally is to be staged. Now in the in hi, if you like this info, please like, share and subscribe this channel.